Okay, so let's dive into something that's a huge headache in B2B sales. Creating a technical price quote. It's slow, it's complicated, and honestly, it can be super frustrating. We're going to look at a new AI copilot that's designed to turn that whole chaotic process into something, well, something smart and streamlined.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Every single time one of those complex requests hits an inbox, the clock starts ticking. How much time gets wasted just chasing down the right technical specs, or checking inventory, or trying to figure out what competitors are charging? Those minutes just pile up, turning into hours, and those hours, they're a huge drag on productivity.
And this slide, it just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? The old way is this messy web of emails bouncing between sales, the tech team, management. It's all manual, it's slow, and you're always running the risk of using pricing that's totally out of date. Now the smart way, which is what we're talking about today, takes that whole mess and pulls it into one single AI-powered platform that gives you live data right when you need it.
So here's our game plan. To really see how this works, we're going to follow a real request through 5 key steps. We'll start with the challenge itself, then we'll see how the AI takes over. We'll watch it act like a pricing strategist, then see how the salesperson actually builds the final offer, and finally, we'll take a quick peek under the hood at the system's command center. All right, let's start right where every salesperson does, the inbox. This is ground zero. It's where a request that looks pretty simple on the surface kicks off what is usually a surprisingly complicated process behind the scenes.
Now, what's really clever here is the design. The whole application is built to look and feel just like an email client. And that's totally on purpose. It completely flattens the learning curve. It means a sales team can jump in and get going right away without having to learn some clunky new interface.
And here it is. This is our hero request for today. It seems simple enough, right? I need 5 power supplies and rack mount kits. But here's the catch. The customer didn't say which models they need. In the old world, this is the exact moment that time-wasting email chains would start firing off.
But this is exactly where the AI copilot jumps in. The second that request hits the system, an automated journey kicks off, turning that simple text into actual usable intelligence. And so far, not a single person has had to lift a finger.
So here's what's happening under the hood. The request gets ingested, the AI figures out what the customer really wants, it gets enriched with all the tech details and pricing data, a draft offer is automatically generated, and boom, it lands back in the salesperson's queue, all packaged up and ready for a human review.
And it all begins with this first super important step, classification. The system uses natural language processing to read the request and just understand the intent. Is this a simple question about a warranty? Is it a direct request for a part number? Or, like in our example, is it a technical consulting request, where the system has to figure out the right parts before it can do anything else?
Okay, this is where the real magic happens. The system goes way beyond just sorting emails. It actually becomes a technical expert and a pricing strategist, pulling in data from all over the place, not just from inside your own company. Remember that email the salesperson would have to send to the engineering team? Gone. That whole bottleneck just disappears. The AI scans the official technical data sheets, the source of truth, and instantly pulls up all the compatible parts. It even explains the difference between them, like, hey, this one has power over Ethernet and this one doesn't. So once it knows what to quote, it has to figure out how much to charge. And it does this by creating this amazing 360-degree view of the market. It pulls from 3 key places: your own internal system for stock levels, direct competitors to see what they're charging right now, and even third-party markets like eBay to spot these really cool arbitrage opportunities, where you can buy low in one place to sell high in another. And get this, here's a perfect example of that in action. For one of the parts they need, the system sees the cheapest price in Europe is $23. But then it scans the US market and finds the exact same part for just $16.80. That's a huge potential saving that a person would probably never have the time to find manually.
And of course, you want to make sure that data is actually good. So the AI does these smart viability checks. It basically filters out all the junk. Listings for parts that are defective, have problems mentioned in the description, or are just stuffing keywords to get attention. It saves the salesperson from having to waste time digging through garbage listings.
Okay, so the AI has done all the heavy lifting, right? It's done the technical research, the market analysis, and now it hands the controls back to the real expert, the salesperson. This is so key to how the whole thing works. It's always a human-in-the-loop system. The AI never ever just sends an offer straight to the customer.
This is all about quality control, accountability, and maybe most importantly, it builds trust with the sales team. It's a co-pilot, not an autopilot.
So the salesperson gets this awesome control panel. They can review everything the AI put together. They can connect to the CRM to see the customer's history and maybe apply a VIP discount. And if the customer comes back a week later, they can just hit recalculate to get fresh up to the second pricing. It even saves the different versions, so it's easy to explain why a price might have changed.
So what's the bottom line here? Well, a process that used to take, on average, 40 minutes and involved a bunch of different people is now done in just 15 minutes by one person. That's a massive, massive time saving on every single one of these complex quotes.
All right, let's wrap up with a quick peek behind the curtain. I mean, for a system this powerful to be reliable, you've got to have a solid command center for the admins to keep an eye on everything.
And they get one. Admins have this super comprehensive dashboard that gives them a snapshot of everything that matters. You've got your core system health, CPU and RAM. You've got security features like guardrails for the language model, user management, and even energy consumption.
And speaking of energy, this is a really cool detail. Because the system is built so efficiently in the cloud, it actually leads to up to 20% savings in energy and CO2 emissions. So it's not just faster, it's actually greener too. And you can see that reliability is just baked right in. The system runs automated tests on itself every day. It's proactively defended against security threats, it can detect personal information to reduce data risks, and it even makes recommendations to scale up resources before you actually need them. And really, that's the whole story. You go from a 40-minute manual goose chase for data to a 15-minute strategic review where the salesperson can focus on adding their unique human value. That right there is the power of an AI copilot.
So that brings us to the final question to think about. If you could just give that time back to your sales team, 25 minutes on every single one of these quotes, what could they do with it? What new opportunities could they chase? That's the really exciting thing to think about. Thanks for tuning in.